Hi everyone, so today what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over some of the Sprite Runick combos that I was using basically as often as I could in the OTS Championship. I do know this deck a lot better than I know other decks, and this isn't my first time playing it, so hopefully I'll be better at playing this one than I have been in other decks. I did play this for the Open last year, and I got second. I only lost to Gabriel Nets, who ended up winning, so it was pretty good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sequencing on the first turn is very important with this deck to get like the maximum value out of it, and it's very different how you play pre-side and post-side. So post-side here, I would be making sure that I would be using the draw phase and using this to go into Hugins. Let's just say that fountain's a blank, to add this here, and I would be doing as much as possible. I would start around this time as well, and all the rest of it. So like I'd be really trying to play around draw post side, but let's just go to like a normal hand. So just put a little line there so I know that's what effects I've used. So I'm not going to do this in the draw phase. Actually, I'm just going to have a quick think here because I don't want to use a huge insert for another fountain because I've already got one. Yes, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to normal summon the Hyperion straight away. That wasn't really what I was hoping for. What I was hoping from this Hyperion was to get a starter or a blue or something so I could Gigantic into Cap Shell instead. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use Tape to search for Flash and Fire. Then I'm going to activate Fountain. Then I'm going to use Destruction to summon the Hugins. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Hugins Chainlink 1, pitch into Flash and Fire. Then I'm going to use Fountain Chainlink 2. Now the idea again of this is I'm trying to draw into the Sprite card, so I don't have to Gigantic into the Sprite card, because like I said before, I want to Gigantic into the Cap Shell. So I'm going to put these three back, because Fountains was open first because I was Chainlink 2. And the reason why I did Fountain Chainlink 2 is because I wanted the Hugins to pay the cost, so I had a third Runick spell to get the maximum draws. Oh, and I drew the Fountain of the Hugin. Oh, that couldn't have went much worse. So the idea was solid. The execution of the deck was not. So now I can't even resolve this Hugin anymore, which is a bit rubbish. So now, I mean, this isn't, all's not lost, this is still pretty solid. So you just go blue, jet effect. Probably add in starter here. Could still freezing curses into Hugins, get IP, then add up IP, blues, Gigantic, and I could start in there turn for red. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that because I can't use this freezing curses anyway, and I'm just stuck in the grave up. So yeah, I'm gonna do this. Then I would set these two, and that would be the end board. So you've got obviously an interrupt from the IP, so it's one land interruption. An interrupt from the Sprashers, you can get rid of the bloom. The starter can, obviously ideal here would be starter into red. Oh, and then the red effect to destroy this. Then the Smashers to banish this and this. So what interrupts have we got here? So we've got, sorry, not that. The banish, probably the red. So we've got the red effect to hit one interruption. We've got the Smashers for another interruption. Then we've got the IP for another interruption. Then we've got, so that's 3. Then we've got the dispelling for another interruption, that's 4. And then the freezing curses, which is 5. Then if we get lucky, yeah, there you go. So we draw into a flash and fire. DB is lagging, but basically we draw into a flash. Oh, there we go. Drew too many. Well, that's going to be our draw for 10 anyway. So we drew into a flash and fire and a destruction. So we literally had 6, 7 interruptions there. So just to go through it again, we had the red 1, smashes 2, IP 3, freezing curses 4, dispelling 5, flash and fire 6, destruction 7. So 7 interrupts there. And then coming back into this turn, I just realised that I made that unicorn illegally, didn't I? Oh dear. Right, okay, so the unicorn wasn't one. Because I'd already used star. So yeah, no, it wasn't quite that many then. So it was only six interruptions, which is pretty good. But I suppose what you could do actually is to correct this situation, and if we just go back a bit, when we had the blue and the starter back, so it's just the same thing. All you would do is you would just use the IP first before you've summoned the red in a unicorn. Then you would start into the red, and you get all the same. You get all the same interruptions. So I said I wasn't going to misplay, and I did, but I caught it, and I've shown the workaround. So yeah, let's go back and do another hand. So that was just 7 interruptions, absolutely crazy. Lots of follow up as well in regards to drawing and using the Spright engine, because we hadn't really used the Spright engine there. So yeah, this is another good hand that I'm happy to showcase here. So this is probably a draw phase hand, just to play around. So yeah, we're going to dispelling some of this, pitch this, search the fountain, and then we can start into blue, into red, and all we're doing is just taking the beef out of the deck. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. I still try and play around the nib as much as possible, so there's just no point playing into the nib here. So that's the 4th summon, when you can just so easily play around it. Bring on the cap shell, then jet, and here I'll search the double cross because I'm doing a bit of drawing. So I've already took out the deck here, a red, a cap shell, a jet, a red, a cap shell, and a blue, and a double cross. So now I can fountain. I don't actually have to use this fountain to search, I could use it as special, but I'm going to anyway, just to put my Runicks in the grave. So I'm going to use this to special anyway, so I'm not going to bother with that. And then obviously fountain, and this is the right time of fountain because you've took most of the fat out of the deck almost. Then we can use destruction here. I don't believe we use destruction to special. Then this is where you do the mud crack play, so you can link those in a mud crack. Capshell gives you a draw. What's not useful here? This probably isn't too useful. Bring back the capshell. Shin. And then we've got a lot of interruption again, so let's sort of run through there isn't as many interrupts as last time, but there's a possibility to draw into them. So obviously you've got the Jin negate, which gives us a capshell draw. Yeah, we've got the red negate and destroy, so it's 2. So I'll just put these in here, 2. And then we've got the double cross take, which is 3. That's a really, really good interruption. Destruction 4, if you want to count that, and then a random slumber, just basically all this is to do is just trigger the fountain. So 3 sort of 4 if you count the destruction here, and then tip into flash and fire. So sort of like this would be the sort of the 4th or the 5th. I'm probably just going to count this as 4, so that's like 4 interruptions. But you've got, you know, then you have to like out this whole thing. You've got to remember Mudcracker can tribute itself to protect something as well. You've got a 3200 Gigantic Sprite, and the next turn you can use this again. Let's bring this back. Now you are locked into Fiends at this point, but you can make Unicorn here. And then Unicorn 1, Capsule 2. Capsule gives you, Unicorn 1 pitching, the other Fenrir, and then Capsule 2 gives you the draw into a Flash and Fire, so you got a Flash and Fire pop, and then you got another draw 3. So you know what I mean, you've got lots and lots of, and obviously you haven't normal summoned, and as far as I think, is Mudcracker just lock you into special summons? Yeah, so you could have used Gigantic first, and you could have normal the Fenrir by attributing over this first. You could have even attributed over the Capsule with Fenrir if you wanted to get the draw. Obviously Fenrir could get the Attic, we didn't already have it. So there's just lots, and you know, there's lots and lots of interruption and lots of grind game as well. So we'll just do one more. But yeah, what I'm really trying to get across here is you want to get all the sprite stuff out of the deck before you start to draw. So again, when you've got 2 of these, you always want to activate, if you got 3, 1 of one and 2 of the other, you always want to activate this one, pitch in this one. Then see here you have to get starter. Draw the blue, same thing, playing around nib, no point wasting the red on a nib. Might as well just keep it dead and in the hand. Bring out a Capshell, starter into blue, blue into carrot, then you got carrot, fountain, Hujins, and then we're just going to start recuperating the hand. So there's a draw 3 here. Another draw off the Capshell. Then a Mudcracker. I'm probably ditching the starter at this point to bring back that. And then we've got the Jin, so this time we've got even more interruptions. So we've got the sort of the red tributing the Gigantic, the carrot tributing the red, so that's 2, the Jin Buster, so that's 3, the double cross, that's 4, and then the tip, which can obviously be whatever it'll be, is probably likely to be a Flash and Fire. Then we got the fountain draw 2, and then we got freezing curse. It's 6 interruptions again, and obviously the follow-up's really good, as in terms of like card advantage to keep you drawing, but obviously the follow-up's not good in the fact that you can't OTK them. But if you've resolved the tip, and you've resolved a freezing curse, and you resolved a flash and fire, there's 6 cards banished off the top of the deck anyway. You can really start to put the heat on them and deck them out, because you can just keep drawing with your engine. Next turn you've got a normal summon Hyperia, you've got a draw for turn, you've got a pitch into Capshell. Then obviously these can be linked into an Unchained Abomination, which gives you another draw off the Capshell. And then we got tip, banishing another one, and then if they've got something else, we can destruction them, and then destruction banishes 4. So there's like 11, I believe, off the top already, and we're just drawing into just more and more and more disruption. Obviously we can't do this because we've Mudcracker this turn, but if we were playing it perfectly, we could have done this prior and searched out smashes as well. So we just got like more interruptions, and basically we just outpaced them with this deck but the sequencing is important to make sure that you're basically getting all the sprites out first to draw into the runic stuff. Anyway, I hope this helped everyone out. It's really difficult to hand trap this deck, as opposed to, like, because it just plays through too much, because all the sprites are extenders, they're going to gigantic, and even when it's over, like, you can bring back stuff from the growth mudcracker and everything like that, so it's really, really good. But even, like, I think the best way to do is to just put all your cards on the board and try and OTK it, because as soon as you get into the grind game on this deck, it's over. But yeah, I think it's a really, really solid deck. I do think it's missing something, though. It is missing something. There's something that's not quite perfect about this deck that I am going to try and find out what I can better this before I take it to the Open / London. My only concern to this deck is Shifter comes back and the format of this deck gets worse. Even though Mannequin kept bringing back their Shifter and just leaving a Shifter on the field for Kashtira is actually quite hard for them to actually out themselves. And then, as well, if Naturia Runick becomes popular, because then they can just put a beast on the field, and that's incredibly hard to deal with. Anyway, so thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Cheers.